And here we go. We have an intense joint practice between the Atlanta Falcons and the Miami Dolphins. In this video, I wanted to break down some things that happened during today's practice, just so you guys can be up to date with everything. It was kind of an intense, some scuffles here and there, some big time hits, some big plays by Kirk Cousins and Kyle Pitts, as well as the Dolphins and Jalen Wright having some explosive plays as well. Like I said, we're going to break down everything you need to know from the news, the notes, the highlights, the observations from today's practice. Before I jump in, I do want to put a little disclaimer that we only have about 3 minutes of new highlights today. So keep in mind, as you watch the video, you may be seeing some reoccurring highlights. But keep in mind that the news and notes is what's important about the video. Hearing about who played well, and who maybe position themselves to break out during their first preseason game, right? So make sure you guys keep that in mind. Also, big shout out to all of the Dolphins and the Falcons media members that are able to keep us updated with practice, kind of making this video possible to make. So go give them a follow on X right now, because I guarantee you will not regret it. With that being said, let's just get into the video. I want to be a little bit sporadic here and just talk about things that happened during practice. So if I go from left to right and just, say some random things, it's because I just want a quick trigger, get these out, and allow you guys to know what happened during practice. Now, the first thing was there was a big injury in today's practice at the very, very, very end. And I believe they ended practice because of it. But wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, Rondale Moore, non-contact injury while running a route, went down, was in a ton of pain. So real quickly, can we just get some prayer emojis in the chat for Rondale Moore? It looked like potentially a torn something, because they brought out the air cast, they brought out the stretcher, the cart for him, and he immediately went to the hospital because got to get that checked out. Didn't look good. Looks like he could be missing the season. I don't want to speculate, but whenever there's an air cast, you always know that something's not right. So that happened today. AJ Terrell made a big hit on Raheem Mostert. You could literally hear the contact. So that was cool to see. I guess Mostert's okay, so that's good to know. Jalen Wright has been super impressive for the Dolphins. It feels like every time he gets the football, he's either making a really nice jump cut, he's really or running right full steam into somebody, making a big time trucking through someone, right? Just making a big play, I feel like I could say. So he's been looking really good. It looks like he could have had maybe a 2 to 3 yard gain, but turned it into 7, 8, 9 yards just off some contact. That dude's going to be special, so I'm excited to see that. We got to see Chris Brooks run it in for a touchdown. Did a really good job being patient, finding a lane behind Hayes and Cotton for a 5-yard touchdown. We also saw Mike White fire a ball into Smythe for a nice little pickup there. But as we carried on into practice, it seemed like the defenses really started to pick up momentum, starting to send more blitzes here and there. And we're going to get into that in just a second. We also saw the red zone defense for the Dolphins didn't really do too well. There was a Bijan run where, there was nowhere to go. So good job there by David Long and Sealer. But then he had a wheel route, and then he, got in for a couple of touchdowns there. So, listen, Bijan's really good. The Dolphins did make a couple of stops on him, but towards the red zone, the dude was really, really good. So, take that into consideration. We saw Cousins take a deep shot to Mooney, and then Jalen Ramsey got called for pass interference. And then there was a fight between the Falcons offense and the Dolphins defense. What else did we really see in practice today? Kyle Pitts got really active in today's practice with Kirk Cousins. Looks like that connection is really starting to build here. And I'm honestly really excited to see, what Kyle Pitts can do in another year in this offense. But more importantly, with a good quarterback. No offense to the quarterbacks that they've had previously, but this is a guy who really likes to get this offense running through the air. Kirk Cousins, I think, is going to be huge for not only Kyle Pitts, but for Drake London as well, and even Bijan. So that's going to be huge. Guys, real quickly, before we get any further into the video, do me a big favor, hit the like button, but more importantly, subscribe to the channel if you're new. It is free. It doesn't cost anything, and we're going to be covering the Falcons and the Dolphins throughout the entirety of the preseason. And get this, during their preseason football game, we're most likely going to go live on my Twitch. So if you want to watch that game with me, make sure you guys follow my Twitch. Link will be in the description, or you can find it at Matty Dubs with 3 S's. But that game will be on Friday. Friday night, I believe, at 7 p.m. We're going to be watching that one and the Texans-Steelers game. So again, if you want to watch that game with me, make sure you guys join the family. We'll be live for that one. And we're going to be breaking down film on the channel after games, like offensive film, defensive film, individual player film. We got you guys covered. Join the family. With that being said, let's kind of get back into the video here. We had another big fight, Falcons Dolphins. Ray McLeod threw a punch after being knocked down to the turf. That one got broken up pretty quickly there. This wasn't nearly as bad as the Giants and Lions practices. Those got pretty crazy. We also saw a deep bomb from Skylar Thompson to Malik Washington, hauled it in. That was amazing to see. Though that connection between Skylar Thompson and Malik Washington, that's starting to become something noteworthy. Very chippy during practice. I'm trying to see what else can we really talk about. Oh, Elijah Campbell had a nice PBU on a crossing route. So that was cool. Cousins kind of went through his progressions, didn't even see him. Campbell was coming up and was able to get the ball out of the receiver's hands. Tyler Algier had a big-time touchdown run against the Miami's backup defense. He's probably going to play a little bit during the preseason, so that would be fun to see. Cater had a nice PBU versus Rondale Moore before he was injured, so shout out to Cater. Kyle Pitts had a 27-yard touchdown from Kirk Cousins. I feel like the defense for Miami really started to heat up late in practice, stuffing the run. And then we saw a sack from Jonathan Harris. Keep in mind, they're not actually hitting the quarterback. Can't do that. But that was cool to see. Bijan had another touchdown run. Duke Riley came screaming in for a tackle for a loss after the touchdown run. So again, some back and forth plays here by the offense and defense from Miami. Okay. I'm trying to think anything else very noteworthy. Braycraft had a big-time block, allowing Jeff Wilson to get a touchdown. Jonnu Smith had a touchdown from White today. A great anticipation throw by White. But that was pretty much it. I feel like it was a chippy practice, a couple of fights here and there. You know, and things are really starting to ramp up here for teams. I mean, we're just a couple of weeks from the start of the season. So I am pumped to see that. Let me know in the comments down below, either if you're a Falcons fan or if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, who are you most excited to see? Give me 2 names, offense and defense during preseason. 2 guys that you think could potentially break out for the Dolphins or, like I said, the Falcons as well, man. Let me know in the comments down below. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family, turn on post notifications. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next update. And again, we'll be live for that game. If you want to watch it with me, follow the Twitch. Peace.